welcome everybody to this episode. This is I'm your host, Joey. On Halloween after it's time we tell some of the most spine-tingling stories that I could find and research.
Okay, I got tired. Of that I can find in research. These few stories are supposed to be some of the most terrifying throughout Latin America. Some of these stories are La Luz Mala, La Sayona, and a few more. Together, we will not only tell the story, but delve deep into the backstory of each and every one that we talk about. So every single one that we talk about, we're going to delve into it as much as we can. So, and if you haven't noticed that we're also going to have some effects. I got sound effects now. So if you like it, let me know. If you don't, that's fine. I don't care. I think it was just a special thing to do for a Halloween episode. So let's begin with the first story is La Luz Mala, which translates to the bad light. Why is it called that? I got to scoot over because I've noticed on all my things that I come out, it's like I'm just in a corner. I want to center myself. There it goes. So why is it called that? Why is it a ghost story? Are the two questions we're asking. So why is it? Why is it on our list? So like other stories, the Luz Mala, the Mala Luz, can be found in different variations throughout Latin America, most predominantly Argentina, Uruguay, and Mexico. Though the one in Mexico is more of a regional story, depends on where you're from, depends on what it is. So what is it? La Mala Luz is a myth that dates back to when indigenous tribes thrived in two of the countries listed above, which is Uruguay and Argentina. Translated again, it is the bad light or evil light, akin to that of the will-o'-the-wisp. Scottish folklore, European folklore has the jack-o'-lantern, and North America has the Paulding lights and the spook lights. So let's talk about some of the other variations. The will-o'-the-wisp, which has also been in the movie Brave, the Disney movie, is usually a fairy-type spirit that leads travelers astray. The story goes, Will was a wicked blacksmith who was given a second chance by St. Peter at the gates of heaven, but still leads a bad life and is cursed to wander the earth, where the devil provides him with a single burning coal with which to warm himself, but still being wicked, he uses it to lead foolish travelers into the marshes to their doom. That's the Scottish version. Now the Irish version, it's about the jack-o'-lantern. The story is that drunk Jack or stingy Jack, when the devil comes to collect his soul, Jack tricks him into turning into a coin to pay for his last drink. The devil turns into a coin for Jack, who then places him into his pocket next to a crucifix, which prevents the devil from turning back. The devil makes a deal to give Jack 10 more years of life. When the 10 years are up, the devil comes to collect his dues. But Jack tricks the devil again by making him climb a tree, then carves a cross below him to prevent him from getting down. The devil forgives his debt, and Jack knows that heaven will not allow him in. So Jack resorts to going to hell and asking the devil for a place there. The devil says no, but gives him an ember from the fires of hell to light his way through the twilight hours, the place where lost souls are forever damned. Jack places the burning coal into a carved turnip to be used as a lantern, which is where we get jack-o'-lanterns from. It's actually a turnip, not a pumpkin, but it's a gourd, Well, not even. Turnip's not a gourd. So that's just a couple of the European versions. Let's finally make our way to Latin America. That side of the story. Mexico, the legend is not that long or too exciting. It is believed that the lights are witches that are flying away, or that they're indicating places where there is believed to be buried gold or treasures that can only be found with the help of children. So, depends on who you are and is the version you got, right? So me growing up, again, I was a little kid that was running around town. I was not staying at home. So my version that I was told was that it's witches coming to take me. I'm pretty sure if I was a good little kid, they'd probably be like, oh, if you go out at night, you might find a treasure. But that's kind of messed up, though, because that's how kids get lost. So I don't know. Now, La Luz Mala is a different thing now. Legend has it that the light is a spirit or soul that has broken out of the ethereal realm and is crying in pain. The light emanates a deadly gas which is made of decomposed bones. It's believed that men that see these lights wander the plains only to find broken pottery containing human remains. Most of these stories are used to keep young children from wandering the streets at night. Like I said, when I was a young child, that's the one my mom told me. That if you see these lights in the distance, to come home because the lights are witches out at night looking to take children away. So You got to be careful because at night, that's when they come to get you, right? It's the witching hour, all that time. I got some sounds that I want to use, but bear with me. I just added these today, and I should have added a 10-second delay so I can hear it first. But I'm dumb, so what are you going to do? Okay, I think I know which one I'm going to use next. I should have labeled it too. Should have done a lot more. It's my first time using sound effects. We'll get better the more we go on. Actually, with some of these ghost stories, we can do some background music. Not background music, some sound effects. Next story that we will cover is La Sayona. She is one of the cursed women that could have been added to last week's episode. She is a vengeful spirit that is said to only show up to men that have been unfaithful to their spouses. The name comes from what she wears. It's a sack-like material that is said to be similar to a medieval-style garment. During the explanation, let's take off the sound effects. We don't need that crap. It is said that she will ask for a ride, and when she is being given a ride, out of curiosity, most men will try to see her face. That's when the true terror sits in. She will have an exposed skull with horrible teeth. The Sayona has a few variations on her story. One of these stories is that she was a married woman. Oh, is this the story? Am I telling the story? Okay, cool. So I'm telling the story. Let's add the sound effects. Boom. She was a married woman who lived happily with her husband, and they had a child. Her husband worked, and she maintained the household, and they had no problems, and they lived day to day happy. One day, a rumor reached her that said that her husband was having an affair with her mother. This rumor was just that, a rumor, but she had to find out for herself. She went to her mother's house and found her husband there asleep with a baby in his arm, their baby. This made her fly into a rage, and she killed her husband and her mother. But before her mother died, she cursed her to forever wander the land, and may her soul never rest to forever punish unfaithful men. Ooh, spooky. I like this. We got some sound effects this time around. If you don't like it, please let me know and I won't use them. So, other versions say that she set fire to the house, killing the husband and the baby, and killing her mother with a machete, disemboweling her. Some say she can transform into an animal, such as a dog, wolf, or, like I said, the woman in black. These all fit in with the bad woman we talked about last week. Adding to this is also banshees. It falls along the similar line. This is one of the similarities from other countries, is a banshee. They're from Celtic mythology and represent a bad omen. To hear one's cry, I can use the cry. Okay, bear, right? It'll be loud. I'm going to turn it down on my own, too. Okay, I had to make sure it didn't repeat it, so I was about to say. What that was is an Aztec death whistle. Sounds terrifying, doesn't it? I think that was a good one for this one. To hear one's cry means a death is close by. The reason I bring this up is that La Sayona is said to be able to do this scream, but her scream is not the bringer of doom. It's just a terrifying scream. The most popular version goes like this, and this is the actual story. I should have saved it for this one, but whatever. I won't. Do I have another one, actually? Let's see. Another sound effect. Good. A young woman named Casilda lived in a small town in Venezuela and was the most beautiful girl in town. Oh, okay, good. I was the most beautiful girl in town. She was married to a great man, the love of her life. He was caring and loving. Casilda and her husband had a baby boy. One day, Casilda was having a swim naked in the river, and a villager saw her alone. He ignored her but gave her a warning that her husband was having an affair with none other than her mother. She ran home and found her husband asleep, the baby in his arms. I guess that was a short sound. Blind with rage and anger, she burned the house down, with both him and the baby still in there. Villagers could still hear their screams, while Casilda ran to her mother's. I'm gonna use that sound again. I won't click the wrong. That's walking. Bad. Stop. There it goes. I thought it'd double up, like layer the sounds. That'd be awesome. But I guess not. Villagers could still hear the screams while Casilda ran to her mother's house. She found her mother on the patio and attacked her with a machete, striking her in the stomach. As the mother bled to death, she cursed Casilda, telling her that from then on, she would have to avenge all women by killing their unfaithful husbands. And from that day forward, she became La Sayona. In some versions, she appears to men in the jungle working. She appears to men in the jungle that are working and are talking about sex or thinking of the woman they left behind, where she appears to them as a beautiful woman, then lures them into the jungle, turns into an animal-like creature, devours them, and leaves their bodies to be found by their co-workers or friends. So the moral of her story is that she went against the most sacred thing that most Hispanics take to heart, and that's honor your mother. That's why she was cursed. And that's true, because Hispanics really take that to heart. You can't talk about our moms, things like that. It gets real offensive. If we take that to heart. Well, not all of us, but most of us, right? I got to take a sip. Sugar free. Okay, so the next mythical creature that's on our list of things to look out for is el Colebrón. Now, if you know Spanish, culebra means snake. So it's el Culebrón. This thing lurks in the dark caves and forests of the Chilean wilderness. This creature is a master shapeshifter that resides in the countryside. Its true form is that of a huge snake with the head of a calf that resides under the beds of children, turning into anything that the child is frightened of for eating them whole. So in other words, it may be a giant snake, but it can instantly transform into anything. And what its specialty is, it transforms into what you fear the most, which sucks. Because having to confront the one thing you fear the most would be horrible. There was someone on live stream. Hey, what's up? I'm sorry I missed y'all. Let me mark this so I can flip this out when I send it out. Aside from taking children, it also takes the wealth, especially if it is buried. So if you have buried treasures, it will find it. There is a way to catch one and find treasure for whoever catches it. So if you can catch one, it'll get treasure for you. The way to catch one is to first find one in the wild, then take 3 of its longest hairs without it eating you. Then after that, you place the 3 hairs and put it in a bowl of milk. From within the bowl, 3 more culebrones will appear, and the strongest will survive and eat the other 2 and grow into full size. Now you have your very own Colebrón that can find you treasure. To feed it, you have to make regular sacrifices to it and leave a bowl of blood in a secret location that the Colebrón can only know about. If you are ever in the countryside of Chile, be careful because it could be hiding anywhere, waiting to take you away, or if you are brave enough to catch one for yourself. In Argentina, there is a similar creature known as the Viborón. As with the Chilean version, it can also make you some money. This creature is known to make pacts with merchants, so the legend indicates that the emergence of the demonic Viborón is because a pact had been made between the oldest, most successful merchant in the city and the Viborón. It would act as a mascot for the merchant to keep it happy. They have to feed it every night so they can have success. The Viborón is born from a rooster egg that has an amphibian inside that turns into a snake that has feathers instead of scales. Presents feathers and shreds of I had a strong there. What the hell? Instead of scales, it presents feathers and shreds of mammal hair. Local nomadic shepherds tell that they usually meet these eggs, not meet, but see them. They find them when they walk through the countryside. They know it's these eggs due to the size and shape of them, almost that of a ping pong ball. They believe that these eggs are abandoned, so they light a fire and throw them in there to destroy them. Because to become the owner of a Viborón is to agree and make a deal with evil forces. These forces will grant whoever makes the deal unlimited riches and fame, provided that you feed it, so you have to take care of it. If it were to flee or die, then that business would fail and bring personal ruin to its owners. Rumor of one being hit by some vehicle in the 90s. So in the 90s, there was a rumor going around that one of these things was killed and hit by a vehicle. It is kept secret due to the ridicule it could bring onto the police force. They initially believed it was escaped from a zoo or a circus that had passed through earlier. Incidentally, a well-known business, I added an extra S, also soon filed for bankruptcy. So the snake dies, and then randomly, one of the best businesses there has to file for bankruptcy. The legend is also used in political shows, saying that the success of a former president was due to making a pact with the Viborón. Another story and another hunt down. So we visited so far 4 different countries and talked about different things. We're going to stay in Chile though. The next mystery, the next being is El Puchon. And I should have had the sound effect of a bat or something. That would have been awesome. But I didn't think about it. El Puchon is a Chilean vampire type. It is believed that this is one of the first stories of vampires that we know of today. It's also the nickname of a species of vampire bat in Chile. This creature looks nothing like a bat in its normal form. I say normal form due to its ability to instantly transform into any creature. It's another one from Chile. It's described as a gigantic flying snake. When it flies, it makes a strange whistling noise. Just one gaze from this thing and it will paralyze you so that it can suck your blood and rip out your heart. It's been blamed for sucking the blood of sheep in the area, kind of like a chupacabra, right? The only way to get rid of it is with a machi, a medicine man. This is a short story about the creature. You are walking. Let's see. Should we do sound effects? Nah, I don't think I want to do sound effects for this. Nah, I don't want to do sound effects. This is a short story about the creature. You are walking in the forest when suddenly, up above, something blocks the sun. As your eyes adjust, you make out something strange in the sky. Your eyes focus, and the birds have stopped singing. Instead of birds, you hear a low, steady whistle. As it gets closer, you start to feel your legs tighten. You see a swirl of blue, red, and yellow feathers as it gets closer. It's just a flurry of feathers, scales, and fangs. As its golden eyes lock onto yours, every muscle cramps, seizes, and burns. As your brain tries to desperately move, you are rooted to your spot as this thing just calmly, almost lazily, glides down to you. With its fangs bared, suddenly you feel a sharp pain in your neck, almost like nails piercing your flesh. Your vision fades. You start to feel colder. You feel a shiver begin at the base of your neck, all the way down your spine. Your muscles still not doing what your brain tells it to do. The only thing they can do is feel like they are on fire from the intense cramps and seizing. The last thing you see is a flash of feathered scales as you slowly fall back and your vision fades. And that was your first and last encounter of El Pichon. I think I did good at telling that story. Now, normally, like I said, I don't like bringing in the brood, but this is Halloween. We're doing the Halloween story. I got to amp it up, right? That's why I got the sound effects too. So let's move on. I'm going to use sound effects on this one. So we're going to have background music and then a scream and then a laugh. So I'm getting y'all prepared now, right? So the next creature that roams the night comes from the Dominican Republic, and it is La Ciguapa. Ciguapa. Now tell me if I'm, butchering that. This creature is said to be beautiful to some and horrendous to others. But make no mistake, these are wild creatures, almost like mermaids. They may look like they're part human, but they're just creatures. They are said to bring death to whoever sees them. They only come out at night. They almost always look like a beautiful woman with dark brown hair, dark blue skin, with backwards facing feet, with long, smooth, glossy mane of hair that covers their bodies. The first appearance of this creature was in a writing from 1866 by Francisco Goridi. Lore states that the only way to capture one is to track it at night during a full moon with a black and white polydactyl dog, and that's a six-toed dog. And it is said it has an enchanting voice that can lure any man into the forest to where they are led to their doom. So let's see. Oh, I don't think this one has all that. No sound effects, right? No, I'm not. I lost my spot. Okay, cool. Along the mountainous range and lurking in the shadows throughout the forests of the Dominican Republic, there awaits a creature that is said to be unnaturally beautiful. To some, she will lure men into the forest beyond the sight of the beaten path, where he will find a beautiful naked woman with the most lustrous hair that goes all the way down to her ankles. As the men start to approach her, they will notice that her eyes are eerily black, almost like a demon's. But by the time they can react, it is too late. The Ciguapa will take her victim to an even more secluded area where she will drain them of their blood with a kiss or killing them and eating them slowly over a couple of weeks. Anyone that goes out looking for those that have been lost to her will have a hard time finding them due to the confusing nature of their feet. Her tracks will have searchers going in the opposite direction. This is a warning to men not to be unfaithful and not to stray from home. Other versions of the Ciguapa can be even more violent, such as taking the men to her cave where she will make love to them first before killing them and eating them, kind of like a Black Widow situation. Or she will take them into the trees and kill them, where she will return to the trees to eat their flesh at her leisure. Now, this is my explanation as to what this is. And I've talked about this in the past in other stories because a lot of these stories come from a time when the indigenous people didn't have like flashlight. They had torches. They had fire on a stick, right? So out of nowhere, some of these creatures are actually animals. I'll explain this, right? Like I've said in the past stories, a lot of these disappearances can be attributed to apex predators, mainly jaguars. With the description of the long black mane and almost blue skin and taking them into the trees, this can be a jaguar standing up against a tree getting ready to climb. And most jaguars do climb trees, and that's where they eat their prey. Getting ready to climb back into the tree to eat its prey. And they do go for the neck, so it may look like a kiss. And that's where you get different color eyes. The chittering or low moans that it makes are also similar sounds that they can make. So small little chittering noises that cats can make it. So big cats can make it too, right? And they are the stealthiest of creatures, and they stalk their prey without making a noise. Imagine a tribesman walking home from a hunt or another village, and suddenly they hear a noise, and out of nowhere, one of them goes missing without a trace. And bam, that's how a legend gets started. One of the most common tales is that they are shy creatures that tend to shy away from men unless they have to. They will break into kitchens and steal meals. If she is caught, or if you suddenly come across one, they will fall into a trance where she will either kill or eat them. So if you see one or you catch one in your kitchen, you will fall into a trance and you're done. If you have a 6-toed dog and catch one, she will die from sadness and distress within 3 days. In the original story, a traveler is on their way to Puerto Plata in 1860. This is where I wanted to use the sound effects. I don't think I'm going to have ominous music though. But I got some sound effects though. So I got some sound effects for this. Puerto Plata in 1860. He takes the Palo Quemado road, which means burning stick, and meets a farmer who gives him a warning. Who gives the warning to a traveler that there is a great evil to be wary of. Travel curious asks, what type of creature is this? The farmer. What type of creature is this? The farmer, named Jacinto, calls it Ciguapa. Jacinto starts to tell the traveler his story. Jacinto used to travel the land as an orphan until he met a man named Andres, who owned farmland between a mountain and a river. Jacinto offered to work on the condition that he can stay on the farm. Andres accepted, welcoming a helpful hand on the farm. He offered to work on the condition that he could stay, so he's on the farm helping out. Andres introduced Jacinto to his family. One of his daughters instantly felt a connection with Jacinto. Two were inseparable and spent all their time together for the next 3 months. One day as Jacinto and Marcelina went for a stroll. Hold on a second. One day as Jacinto and Marcelina went for a stroll through the woods, as they always do, they came upon their favorite's resting spot, where they sat and talked for hours. But something was different this time. Jacinto was nervous, so he decided to profess his love for her, fearing that she would not show it back. Marcelina did. She responded by telling him that she loved him. The young couple began planning their future together when all of a sudden, a rush of fear and dread came washing over Marcelina, loud scream coming up. Jacinto, ever valiant, reassured her that he would protect her no matter the danger. Suddenly, 2 high-pitched shrieks filled the air. As it echoed through the forest, one shriek came from the creature, the other one from Marcelina, who laid eyes on where the sound came from. Marcelina let out a scream and yelled, "My God, la Ciguapa," and fainted. Jacinto picked up his loved one and ran back to her father's cabin. Marcelina was delirious, switching between asleep, crying, and any other fit. During a moment of clarity, she looked up at Jacinto and told him that they were going to be happy together. Just 3 days later, he buried his love under their favorite tree. Jacinto describes what La Ciguapa looks like. He says she is a creature that has existed long before the island was discovered. Standing as tall as a dwarf, so she's short, with golden skin of a true Indian, so dark brown, and slant eyes, and being extremely beautiful with long, luxurious hair rolling down to her calves. Because of the mesmerizing beauty, anyone that sees her is instantly entranced. They are as fast as a hare, which is rabbits, live in the trees and traverse from tree to tree. Since they cannot speak except for howling, all they desire is love. Due to their nature of being shy and wanting love, it makes them extremely jealous if it sees a couple in love. She will not attack. Instead, she shares this pain and anguish with whoever lays eyes on her, and within a few days, both of them will die. Traveler proceeds on his way, now wary of the dangers that lie ahead. Now that's a good story. The final creature comes from Cuba. It's known as Madre de Aguas, which translates to Mother of Waters. It's also known in other places by the Creole. It is known as Mama Glow. On other islands, she is called Mami Watra Mama. First talked about in the 1600s with the description of a giant boa, the thickness of a palm tree, with two protrusions on its head like horns and impervious to bullets, so it's bulletproof. So it is a giant water snake that has horns and is bulletproof and is immortal. If you try to kill it or catch it, you will die. It lives in lakes and rivers on islands. It is said to provide a constant flow to the people, and when hungry can swallow a calf whole. With influences from the indigenous and African cultures, this creature is more of a cautionary tale than something meant to scare you. Think of it as a way to protect the waterways and nature on the island. It embodies the beauty and the ferocity of the unpredictable waterways of the island. A guardian of not just the waters, but also Mother Nature. It is said that because of its disembodiment of water, it can cause severe floods, droughts to those that try to harm the water. On the opposite end, it can purify the waters for the people and animals of the island, making it a symbol of water, life, and renewal. Sightings are rare, but it is said that if you are lucky enough to see one, you will be in awe of its magnificent beauty and power. If you're a fisherman that respects the waters, it will bless you with a bountiful catch. So far, we have covered what happens out in the plains of Uruguay, Argentina, and Mexico when you see a light off in the distance. Then we talked about what happens if you are unfaithful to your spouse, and how to be a successful merchant. You have to make a deal with a demon snake. And if you are traveling in the woods, be careful of the Puchan, a vampire, in the wilds of Chile. Then we came up on La Ciguapa, a jealous entity that will kill the ones who see it. Last lesson learned was to respect the waters, take care of nature around you, and to be granted safe water and bountiful fish. Does not risk the anger of La Madre de Aguas. Do not risk to anger La Madre de Aguas. With everything we covered, it's now time for bed. But now you have to be wary of another entity. You thought we were finished, weren't you? This one comes from Brazil. This is La Pisadeira. I don't speak Portuguese, so I'm pretty sure I butchered that name. It is a demon that stands on chests, and that's when the nightmare begins. This demon is described like this. It is a woman that is skinny, with long, skinny, dry fingers, with nails to match, dirty and yellowish, short feet, bristly, unkempt hair with a large nose, almost like a falcon's beak, with eyes as red as fire and a smile that is wide and menacing. With green teeth, she never stops smiling or cackling. The description alone will give you nightmares. It's supposed to be an evil laugh. I thought it was creepy. She targets those that go to bed with a full stomach and facing up. So in other words, if you eat before you go to bed and you lay on your back, this is where it happens, right? Once she spots you, she will emerge from her hiding spot and stand or crouch on your chest, putting you into a comatose state where you will be conscious of everything around you, trapped in your own body, powerless to react. You may think this is just a legend, and you'd be right and wrong. What this is a phenomenon known as sleep paralysis. Throughout recorded history, people throughout the world have experienced this. It may be interpreted differently by different cultures. In Alaska, it is believed to be a shaman who did this to you to perform a ritual of sorts. In Japan, it's a vengeful spirit that attacks and suffocates you. In Nigeria, it is a female demon that attacks you in a similar fashion. In modern times, for those that don't have that deep-rooted connection with their past, right? In modern times, it's attributed to alien abductions and vivid hallucinations. This has been recorded so many times that it is a part of a medical study in the Medical Institute of Health. So that's it for now. Hopefully you can have a good night's sleep. Remember, stay spooky, and until next time. Well, that's it. Until next time, guys. I hope you like some of the sound effects I used, some of the things I had. I know some of them were cheesy. Just please let me know if you like them or not, and I'll keep using them. I'll keep looking more up just to have a nice little catalog of sounds that I want to use. And as I write the stories or write my scripts, I'll get more different sounds that better go with it. It's my first time, so I was a little ill-prepared. I forgot to change the label. Oh my God. It's a little too late, but I changed it now. Hopefully it backtracks, fixes it. But yeah, stay spooky, everybody. I'll see you next time.